expected to chair a meeting of the government's Emergency Security Committee following the incident. Scotland Yard briefed the media earlier this evening.
Since 2:40 this afternoon, the MPS has responded to an incident in the area of Parliament Square, and the Senior National Coordinator has declared this a terrorist incident. And although we remain open-minded to the motive, a full counter-terrorism investigation is already underway. This is led by the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command. At this stage, I will confirm what we know has happened, but I will not speculate. We received a number of different reports, which included a person in the river, a car in collision with pedestrians, and a man armed with a knife. Officers were already in that location as part of routine policing, but immediately additional officers were sent to the scene, and that included firearms officers. We are working closely with the London Ambulance Service and the London Fire Brigade. I'd like to repeat our request for the public to avoid the following areas: Parliament Square, Whitehall, Westminster Bridge, Lambeth Bridge, Victoria Street up to the junction with Broadway, and the Victoria Embankment up to Embankment Tube Station. This is to allow emergency services to deal with this ongoing incident. There is an ongoing investigation being led by the Counter-Terrorism Command, and we would ask anybody who has images or film of the incident to pass those to the police. We know there are a number of casualties, including police officers, but at this stage we cannot confirm numbers or the nature of these injuries.
As events continue to unfold in London after what police are treating as a terrorist attack at the Houses of Parliament at Westminster, the United States has convened a summit of 68 countries that have joined Washington in the fight against terrorist group ISIS.
The attack in London also comes on the anniversary of suicide bomb attacks on a Brussels airport and underground system in Belgium that killed 32 people. Our correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease is in the United States and is working on reaction to the story.
We have sought reaction from the United Nations here in New York, officials telling us that they condemn all acts of terrorism, but they are relatively cautious to say anything further at this point given the developing nature of events on the ground. A short time ago, President Donald Trump, who has made terrorism a cornerstone of his agenda, made some off-the-cuff remarks to reporters a short time ago.
Having some big news having to do with London, so it just happened.
Trump spokesperson Sean Spicer tweeted earlier that the president had been briefed on the situation and that they continue to monitor and update him as new information comes to hand. We must also emphasize at this point that police in London have made no links to any groups or individuals regarding responsibility for these attacks, but it does come at a time when the world is grappling with how best to tackle the scourge of terrorism that affects many different parts of the globe. Earlier today in Brussels, King Philippe led ceremonies on the twin attacks that killed several dozen people and injured hundreds more exactly a year ago today. And in Washington, diplomats from 68 nations are attending a meeting of ministers of the Global Coalition on the Defeat of ISIS, hosted by US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. For now, let's return you to our colleagues in Johannesburg.